Hi there, I'm Dylan Tanner and this is the 6th episode of Movement for Mind and Meaning, a show where we talk about mental health in ways that are practical, down to earth and hopefully at least a little bit encouraging. Today we're talking about a topic that I think a lot of people secretly wrestle with but don't talk about enough. Wanting to move your body for the sake of your mental health but not being a gym person. You know that exercise can help your mood, your anxiety, your focus. Science has proven that over and over. But the idea of walking into a gym, maybe it makes you anxious, maybe it's boring, maybe it just feels like punishment. I've personally been going to gyms for the last 30 years and I still struggle to walk through the gym doors at times. And if I'm going to a new gym or training environment, I get the same anxious feelings as if I've never walked into a gym before in my life. So if that's you, don't worry, I get it. And then on top of that, we need to talk about how gym culture shapes our early beliefs about what real movement looks like. Early on, gym culture made me believe that real training or real workouts had to be intense, structured, and visible for all to see. It had to look like weightlifting, HIIT classes, six-packs, sweat-drenched t-shirts, and transformation photos. If you weren't chasing progress with a stopwatch or lifting heavier every week, it didn't count. And slowly, that narrowed what I thought movement could be. A quiet walk didn't feel valid. Movement had become performative, measured, and externally validated. Not something I did to feel good, but to be seen as doing it right, and honestly I bought into that for a long time. The pressure to train like an athlete was keeping me stuck. I felt like if I couldn't do a 2-hour gym or track session consistently all week, then it was pointless. It took years to unlearn that, to realise movement can be spontaneous, short and light if need be, just to feel good or achieve a win. It doesn't need to be hours long, or super intense, or even be building towards a goal at all. It can be just because you feel like it. And if you can be consistent at those small light movements, they're always going to trump long intense workouts you can't even get started due to overwhelm, anxiety or pressure. And that's what I've personally done with walking so many times and still do if I feel I can't manage much else. It's an easy, gentle way for me to get moving and feel different with no added pressure at all. For me this makes it doable all the time, so I've always got something I can fall back on. And being totally honest, because of all the hardcore training I used to do, I would have scoffed at the idea of simply walking for short periods every day as a form of movement or exercise. But now I know it's situation dependent. Sometimes I can do 2-hour sessions in the gym and I love those days. But sometimes I can't get out of bed, so then a short walk becomes the biggest win of my day. Both forms count and they're both meaningful, depending on what type of day you're having. So you can see how my definition of successful workout has evolved over the years as I've needed to manage my mental health symptoms more and more. And then we can talk about shame and comparison to others when it comes to the gym, or going out for a walk or run. There's been times where I've gone long periods of my life not working out due to my mental health. I've gained weight, 7 stone at one point, which was incredibly hard to go back to my old gym, see all the old faces, all my old rugby friends, all who'd only ever known me to be in shape. That was really tough. Not because they said anything, they didn't need to, it was on their faces. The main thing I tried to keep in mind when I was going back to the gym after a layoff was to focus on where I'm going to be in 3 or 6 months or even 12 months time if I'm consistent and keep going. Please remember this. You don't have to earn your right to move. You don't need to look a certain way, be a certain weight, or reach a certain level of fitness before you start. Movement isn't a punishment for how you look or a reward for being good enough. It's something that above all should feel good and enjoyable. Those are the absolute most important factors to take into account. Whether it's weight training, running, or shake weighting yourself into oblivion, you're only going to keep up what you enjoy. Comparison is big, especially in gym culture or online. But your body isn't sure to compete with someone else's highlight reel. It's sure to be lived in and move you through life. If you felt this shame or comparison, it makes sense that movement might feel loaded. But you don't have to run marathons or post progress pics for movement to mean something. Maybe your first step is walking around your street without headphones, stretching in your room with the curtains closed, dancing like a weirdo when no one's watching, which I've been said weirdo myself many times. Whatever feels small and safe enough for you, it's okay. And if you've spent years avoiding movement for any of the above reasons we've discussed, just know you can get started today. You're not behind. You're just starting from where you are right now and that's all you can do. Off the back of all that, I want to show you that you can still get all the mental health benefits of moving without forcing yourself into an environment or activity you don't feel comfortable with. We'll talk about why movement helps your brain feel better, the myth that you have to go hard or go home, how to find the types of movement you actually enjoy, sneaky ways to fit into your life without it feeling like a chore, and how to keep it up even when motivation dips. By the end of this episode, I want you to feel like moving is something you get to do, not something you feel you have to do. Let's start with the why. When I say movement, I'm not just talking about formal exercise. I'm talking about any intentional way you can get your body moving, whether that's stretching in your living room, dancing in your kitchen, walking your dog, gardening. I hear there's even some weirdos out there who enjoy a good vigorous cleaning session to get them moving. Now here's a sciencey bit, but I promise to keep it light. When you move your body, you increase blood flow to your brain, which helps you think more clearly. You release endorphins, those lovely feel-good chemicals that give you a mood boost. You reduce stress hormones like cortisol, which means you feel less frazzled. You improve sleep quality, which has a huge knock-on effect to your mood and focus and mental health. And for a lot of people, movement acts like a moving meditation. It gives your mind a break from constant thoughts. That last one is absolutely massive for me. I'll choose activity that takes all my focus so I don't end up thinking about life stresses. Things I love doing. For where I am right now, I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for this. When you have someone trying to throw you around like a rag doll and choke you out, trust me, you're not thinking about much else. I like intense exercises, whether it be prolonged efforts or short intense bursts like HIIT, because these keep me focused on the work and nothing else. These above are just what suits me for where I am right now. When I'm in a mental health dip, and all that is unmanageable to me, a walk or a drive while listening to music is typically all I can manage. And that's the thing, you don't have to do intense, sweaty, painful workouts to get the mental health benefits. Even just 10 minutes of gentle movement can start to shift your mood. And for mental health, consistency matters more than intensity. So if the idea of going to a gym or doing a hardcore HIIT session makes you cringe, great news, that's not the only way. Now let's just get this out in the open. Some people love the gym, and that's amazing. If you're one of them, keep going. But if you're not, that's equally fine. There are plenty of reasons people don't enjoy the gym. It can feel intimidating, especially if you don't know the equipment or it's a new environment. Let's be honest, it can be absolutely terrifying. The atmosphere might not feel welcoming. It could be too noisy or too crowded. You might just not like being indoors for workouts. You might feel too structured or too rigid for your personality. And let's be real, sometimes the cost or travel time makes it unrealistic. And here's the most important point. If you hate your workout environment, you're not going to stick with it. The good news, your brain doesn't care where you move. It cares that you move. Whether that's in a field, in your bedroom, at a dance class, or just marching on the spot while watching TV. So if you're not a gym person, how do you figure out what movement actually works for you? Here's my golden rule when it comes to movement. If you don't like it, it's not for you, no matter how effective it's supposed to be. If you don't enjoy it, or at least like the idea of it, you're not going to keep it up. It's really as simple as that. Let's look at some categories. 1. Nature movement. If you like being outside, walking or hiking, and yes, slow walking still counts. You're moving, that's all that matters. If you're going forward, that's fast enough. Cycling. It could be gentle, it could be a long ride, or it could be adventurous in the mountains. Paddleboarding or kayaking if you like the water. Even gardening. It's underrated, but trust me, you'll feel it the next day. 2. Creative movement. If you like music, rhythm or artistry, dance in your living room. No one's watching. Join a beginner's dance or Zumba class. Try hula hooping. Surprisingly fun and great for your core. 3. Playful movement. If you get bored easily, trampolining, throwing a frisbee, playing with your kids or pets, skateboarding or rollerblading even. 4. Mind-body movement. If you want calm and focus, things like yoga, tai chi, gentle stretching routines are all good. 5. Everyday movement. If you want to sneak it into daily life, taking stairs instead of lifts, walking to meetings or phone calls, lunchtime workouts. And you don't have to pick one. You can mix and match depending on your mood. One day you feel like a gentle stretch. The next, you might put on loud music and stomp dance around your house. Both count. And here's one big myth I definitely want to bust. You don't need to do 60 minutes a day to see mental health benefits. Research shows that even short bursts, like 5 or 10 minutes, can have a measurable impact on mood and anxiety. So instead of aiming for the perfect workout, aim for the possible one. Too tired for a full walk? Step outside. Breathe fresh air for 3 minutes. Stretch your arms overhead. Trust me, you'll feel something different. If you hate running, don't do it. Walk briskly instead. You have a busy day? Put on a song you love and dance like no one's watching. The point is, you're building a relationship with movement that feels good and not like punishment. When movement becomes something you associate with relief, joy, or even just a sense of, I did something for me today, you're way more likely to keep it going. So you found some types of movement that feel right for you. How do you make it a regular part of your life without forcing yourself or fizzling out? Here's a few tips. Anchor it to something you already do. If you always have a morning coffee, stretch while the kettle boils. If you always watch TV in the evening, do some light movement during adverts or between episodes. Start to look small. Think 2 minutes small. Your brain loves small wins. Use your mood connection. Notice how you feel before and after movement. That before-after awareness becomes motivation. Make it social if you want. Join a club. Have a walking buddy, a friend who sends you funny dance videos to try. Forgive yourself for missed days. Movement is a gift, not a punishment. If you miss a day, you haven't failed, you've just taken a rest. So, if you've been thinking you should go to the gym but you dread it, take this as your permission slip to explore other kinds of movement. Movement for mental health is about feeling lighter, clearer, more grounded, and you can get those benefits without ever touching a treadmill or a dumbbell. Find what feels good for your body and your mind. Make it small, make it doable, make it yours. Your brain doesn't care if you're bench pressing or dancing in your kitchen. It just knows you're moving. And that movement is one of the most powerful self-care tools you have. Thank you for listening today. If this episode gave you some ideas you feel you could use, I'd love if you shared it with a friend who's been feeling stuck about exercise themselves. This is Movement for Mind and Meaning, a place for people just like you who want to keep trying for something more.